Welcome to Season 5, Episode 2 of JWC Podcast. So, at first, I thought that we didn't prepare much for this season because there are only 2 testimonies. But after hearing them out, I realized that, God is really gracious. God always supplies and provides what we need because the testimony are so good. So thank you again to Timothy and Melvin for preparing their testimonies, and all of the testimonies show how faithful and how good God is in our life. Now it's time to hear Timothy share about how God is always gentle and He will lift up your burden.
Hello, my name is Timothy. I was born in Vietnam and still live and serve the Lord in it. I have been a believer for 24 years. I must thank God because God allowed me to born into a Christian family. My father is a Protestant. My mother used to be a Catholic, but now she converted to Protestant as well. I went to church and believed in God from a very young age. But to me, before the big event that turned my life back to Christ, I was just a normal churchgoer and believed because my whole family believes. Until I came into the 6th grade, when I started to have extra class outside my school hours. I was tired because of the study load back then, and I think it's affecting my Sunday as well. I started to make excuse that I'm tired because of the school and I want to rest on Sunday. My mom and dad saw that I was serious, so they allowed me to stay at home on some Sunday. Time goes on, I stopped going to church completely. My mom and dad weren't even encouraging me anymore because they know that I would get frustrated and angry at them. So from 2011 to 2018, I didn't go to church or joining any activity that related to church. I was in a very dark place and I had a lot of bad spirit with me because I invited them to my heart. But gracefully, God pulled me back into Him in one eventful month. As you know, when you are a student, when it's come to final exam season, you started to cram as much as information that you learn into your head. For me back then, I was just a normal student. I was not bright when it's come to education, but I still barely get enough score to pass the exam. Around middle exam season for that year, and I was trying my best to learn chemistry, but it's no hope of getting anything into my head back then. The night before the exam, I was terrified because if I failed this exam, I would have to take the whole class again. So I started to pray to God. I asked God, if you still there, God, if you remember me, you remember who I am, can you help me to pass this exam, please? And I promised that I would go to church again. So skip through a few months. From then, the result of the chemistry came out, and I was just enough to pass the class. I was very glad that I could pass the class, but the sad part is I forgot my promise to God. On one Wednesday night, I was sitting in my house and just scrolling through my phone, but then suddenly I stood up and changed my clothes. I vaguely remember that I went to a church plant that near my house. We call it a church plant because it's helped build the church in that area. I came in and sat there through the entire service. And then after I came home, I realized that I have gone to church unconsciously. I was very surprised that I even went to, because I don't remember that how I got there from the beginning. I asked my mom and she told me that I just stood up, changed my clothes, and then left. She was very curious as well. So that was a very odd thing that ever happened, that I ever experienced. But Since then, for some reason, I wanted to go back to the church plant again. And time went on and on. I started to have connection to God again. My family was very happy that I went to church again. But like any other normal Christian, I have faced many challenges. One of the challenges that helped me to come really close to God is in 2019. It was almost Christmas, and we were about to prepare for Christmas. God gave me a small job that I can do and could have some income to have the family. But then bad bad news struck to my families that my mom has a really big debt to the gang near my area. We have to find the finance and money from the people that we know, ask to for them to help us to pay for my mom's debt. But we couldn't find no luck around our relatives. They all scolded us and told us that we need to handle it all by ourselves. We were very sad and angry at our relatives. Imagine a 19 years old boy still trying to get a job and help his mother to get out of debt. I was very scared and didn't know what to do. I was driving at 10 p.m. at night to every place that I could possibly borrow money so my mom could go home because she was scared that the gang would come to the house if they saw her. Even though after the debt was paid, the thing is still very high. I don't know what to do. I was desperate. I couldn't handle it anymore, so I tried to find a way out by suicide. I take my motorcycle, drive around, and then I start to pray to God that how sorry I am, but I cannot do this anymore. I told God that I know that I will not meet Him ever again because of the thing that I'm about to do. I came to a bridge that was pretty far from my house. I was at the end of the bridge, but for some reason my motorcycle wasn't turning on anymore. So I think in my head that I can push the motorcycle to the top of the bridge or the middle of the bridge. And then I can, started to do the thing that I was planning from the beginning. After a long 5 minutes of pushing, I was in the middle of the bridge and I was exhausted. I was like out of breath and just like breathing in my mouth like and I thought to myself that I can take a rest for a bit, then I can start to do what I was planning to do. During the time I sat down, I thought a lot about the journey that I have with God. I was I really want to continue, but in my head at that time, I didn't see anything or anyone that can help me to help my family out of this. But suddenly, I received a phone call from an aunt. She was in the US. She called me and asked if I'm okay, and she heard about the story that my family is having right now. She said that she'll pay for everything from my mom, and we can pay it back to her slowly. After I heard this, I feel like God has given me a way out. I was so happy that I cried that moment. Look back on that story, I realized that during the whole time of me trying to find a solution, I never once prayed to God. Only after I decided that I want to end my life, that's when I pray. But still, looking back at that time, God still helped and stayed with me even though I didn't remember Him or ask Him for any help. I can see that God will prove there's still a way out, and you don't need to be afraid and just try to do the stuff your way. Another funny thing that happened after the call, I just remember that because the motorcycle was never, you know, turn on again. So I have to push my motorcycle from that bridge all the way back to my house. It's about around 12 kilometer away from my house. So that's pretty long, and I have to push all the ways. I think that it's a way that God trying to discipline me as well because of the thing that I trying to pull up. Yes, so that is two of my testimonies. I hope that this can encouraging you on your journey with Christ and continue to put your trust in Him. Goodbye.
So that will conclude season 5 of our podcast, and it's quite a short one, but I think I enjoyed it a lot because I was the one that had to edit it. So for me, the workload was pretty chilled. So I hope that the challenge in the last episode excites you enough. So this one, we're gonna end with a song called Forever Rain, that despite our human imperfections, despite that we didn't trust Him enough, despite our doubts, despite our highs and our lows, He's always there for us and faithful to everything that He has promised. May His name and He Himself forever reign.
You are peace when my fear is crippling. You are true, you are